It's Tuesday, but it's not any ordinary Tuesday. It's the return of the Forza Spec Racing Series. Yeah, Season 40, Porsche Carrera GT. Lots and lots of horsepower, 582 of them, in fact. We've got a whole grid of registered drivers. We'll see how many we have on that grid. Right now, it stands at 16. I'm certain we'll get a few more in there. Hockenheim Ring first. Suzuka second. Let's roll. It's Tuesday night, Forza Motorsport Spec Racing here live on Twitch TV. Let's get it going. AMS Storm now here on lap number 34 of 34, jumps into the top spot. And here comes Maverick now, going to make a run to the inside. Drex perhaps missing his mark. Hello and welcome to X Venture Live on Twitch TV. Why does it feel like it's been an eternity? Like we've gone a whole 20 years since we've been back with the Forza Spec Racing Series. It's only been 3 weeks. I promise you, it's only been that long. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Dustin Moore. Thank you very much for tuning in here on a Tuesday evening. Hoping to get you to your Cinco de Mayo Wednesday on a little bit better of a note here on Tuesday. I don't know about y'all, but Tuesdays can't, they no matter how hard they try, they just can't cut it. Got to get rid of them. Don't want them, don't need them. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'd be cool with that. And then, of course, Wednesday would become the new Tuesday, right? Well, that's how it happens. And yes, I am on camera. It'll be very limited. I'm telling you, it'll be a scant amount of on-camera activity here. But at least to get things started here, I've got my step and repeat behind me here, FM4, their logo rebranded. And I'm ready to go. SGR Floofy being our Season 39 champion. Just 3 weeks ago, has selected the vehicle here for season number 40, that being the 2003 Carrera GT. They've gone ahead and swapped in the 6-liter V12 engine to give it the 582 horsepower that they'll be racing with for 5 weeks of racing, 9 races in total, starting here tonight with 2 races, one being out at Hockenheimring. And when you might be thinking 582 horsepower, Carrera GT, probably going to be on the full circuit. No, you would be wrong. They're actually going to run the national circuit here today. Follow that up by a little bit of precipitation, or at least the chance thereof, out at Suzuka for race number 2 here tonight. The points have been wiped clean, starting anew here tonight. And let's go back in time a little bit. Take a look at last week with, last season, season 39 with SGR Floofy, as I'd mentioned, at the top of the leaderboard, winning out 385 points. That would be Floofy's second championship here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. I had misspoken a couple of times since, when in mentioning that Floofy was going to be picking up his first championship. No, it was actually his second, first under the SGR Floofy name. So I had part of that correct, followed by Craytrim, who gave him a run for his money, Toyo Sama, DTS Mondo, who didn't race the entire season. So if we get DTS Mondo for all of season 40, look out. Audrex, always a contender there in the top 5, top 8. RZ McQueen, who was our season 37-38 champion, did not participate fully in season 39, hence the 277 points versus where he would normally be if he had raced all 5 weeks, probably a lot further up in the leaderboard. LS Barney there at 266. I don't think Barney got in for all 5 weeks. Fear the Fun, Barf Monkey, Foontang, and then you see the folks there on the right-hand column of the leaderboard. And what a great season it was, too. Very good season in the Mazda Miata, as you might expect. A car that is just born and bred for the track. It is ready to go. The Carrera GT perhaps needs a little bit more refinement. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the vehicle, or how that vehicle is set up here for season 30. Or excuse me, we're out of the 30s. We're beyond the 30s here. We're into the 40s now. S800 Performance Index, so the highest PI spec that the Forza Spec Racing Series will go. They won't go above the S-Class Performance Index here in Forza Motorsport 7. 582 horsepower, as I mentioned, 432 foot-pounds of torque there, going to that mid-engine, not rear engine, but mid-engine placement Porsche, and then to the back tires. Then it's a 3,026 pounds of curb weight in this vehicle, despite the race weight reduction. However, with that much power, you might want a little bit of weight over those wheels. And so 3,000, not too shabby. Homologation restrictor plate there to help bring some of that horsepower back. Race flywheel, race chassis reinforcement and roll cage, race weight reduction. You see the sport transmission, you see the race differential, and there on the tire situation, we've got race tire compound, and then the wheels. Those tire compounds are wrapped around sport rim style, which is the WROK, or that might be ROK, I don't know, CRKAIs. 285/30 on a 20-inch rim up front, 355, a little bit chunkier there at the back, 30 on a 20-inch rim. All right, so everybody's ready to go. Cheetah is hashtag ready for rookie season. Good to see Cheetah hopping in there. DWM Frogs here in the chat says, looking forward to season 40. That I am as well. Let's go ahead and get the schedule up there on the screen for y'all, as they are still getting some drivers loaded up into the lobby for the 3 laps of qualifying around the Hockenheimring National Circuit. And that'll be 21 laps for the full race. And then Suzuka, as I mentioned, it will be the full track with a chance, I was going to say a percentage, which I guess is somewhat correct, but a chance of rain there. 14 laps around the full circuit in the Porsche Carrera, so going to be able to let the wheels run a little bit better out there at Suzuka, and then follow that up with week number 2 being a couple of Grand Prix tracks. So really letting the horsepowers go there, all 582 of them, with Circuit of the Americas out there in Austin, Texas, and then Circuit de Catalunya, the Grand Prix, for 16 laps. Week number 3 has Road Atlanta, the club circuit, so an abbreviated version there of Road Atlanta. The Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe, Old Mulsanne, so the very long straightaway, no chicanes there, in the dark for 8 laps. Followed by week number 4 out at Daytona Speedway. We've made a lot of visits out to Daytona over the last few seasons. This one will be at the Tri-Oval, 42 laps, and that too, pardon me, in the dark. We'll have plenty of lighting, though, out there at Daytona. No problem there. Circuit Day Spa Francochamps there for the 8th and final race into the grand finale. So I should say the penultimate race here of season 40 out there at Spa, 11 laps, and then week 5, Mugello Autodromo Internacional, and that will be the 45-lap finale. All right, out to the race we go. As they get ready for qualifying, we'll go ahead and pump up the volume a little bit here. Just a little bit, not too much so. Herding cats, Dustin, herding cats. We got mods with the wrong rims. Welcome to week 1, says Slow Motion Fire. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, the rim situation always can be a little bit tricky because somebody can get some different tire on there and you'll still hit the performance index spec, which in this case is S800. And I don't think it's deliberate. I think people just accidentally apply the wrong one, and you got to get them all sorted out. Here comes Kuda, now out of turn number 2, 3, and then 4. Hook it to the left, and this being the national circuit, they will avoid that hairpin on the long end of this back straightaway. Instead, they'll cut the track short a little bit, head into the Mercedes arena, and then back toward the start-finish line. How y'all doing? Long time no see for some of you. I know a couple of y'all hang out with me during my my baseball streams. Kuda93 says, first race with my new team, Team Goon Squad, with Fear. Oh boy. I can hardly wait. They're doing qualifying right now, so I know I'm not going to get the answer, but maybe we'll get Fear or Kuda or somebody else from the Goon Squad to hop into the driver's spotlight here in between races, and we can ask who is heading up that team there. JDM Boy 1997, 1997. Good year. Good year. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the follow. And let me go ahead and do the alert there at the bottom again. I don't know if it went off or if we were in between scenes or what. Across the line, Fear the Fun with a 132.5. And now Cratrum with a 132.38. We have we've got some new names out here. Some new names. New virtual faces, if you will. We got the cars looking as spiffy as ever. Here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, they have this tradition where each season they have a theme to which they kindly request, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that you kind of thought you find a livery or you put one together that fits the theme. And I'm not entirely sure what the theme is this year, but we'll try to make heads or tails of it here by looking at some of the liveries. DTS Mondo right now with the top time at a 129.689, sporting that flag of Mexico next to his gamer tag above his car. And if y'all are paying attention to some of the rumor mill activity for Forza Horizon 5, there is speculation that Mexico is on tap for the next Horizon title. I've kind of guessed that without any information whatsoever. I just am just speculating, just guessing. And now it seems like that rumor is starting to become a little bit more prominent. Who knows? We might be going south of the border here for us in the North America region. South of the border down to Mexico. I'd love it. Sweater Vested. Oh, that name. Sweater Vested. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I am so glad I have somebody who follows this channel whose name is Sweater Vested. That is a rockin' name. That is a rockin' name. Cratrum right now with a 128.433. Sitting on pole. Fear with the second quickest time. And, of course, as soon as I say that, drops down, I think, a spot or two to 4th. Of course. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your foes. We're live. Forza Spec Racing Series, one of the longest running community-run leagues that you will find, as Fear the Fun just goes completely bonkers there in the Carrera GT, sliding off the runoff area and into the wall. One of the longest run community leagues that you will find in the Forza community, and dare I say, the best? Yeah, I know. You've got your upperclassmen, I'll call them, like TORA, the Online Racing Association. That's another level. But in terms of, I'll use the words of Slow Motion Fire and how he describes FM4 here is that it's a beer league. In terms of beer leagues, you will find none better than FM4. If you need any details, if you're curious, if you want to get in on the action, FM4, it's reddit.com/r/FM4. You join in week number 2, and you could still be in the running because the drop week rule is in effect. 5 weeks of racing. They take your top 4, mash those points together, and then you've got your entree or your championship total. The driver with the most championship points at the end of the season wins the championship. Yep, that's how racing works. SGR Floofy, our season 39 champion, moves up to the top spot with a 127.766 on that third and final qualifying lap. Cratrim shows in second, DTS Mondo in third, LS Barney in fourth, and we will we'll come out of the lobby here, and it looks like maybe we lost somebody. Oh, actually, I think the qualifying is over. So there we go. Looking at the final standings, and I'll apologize on behalf of Turn 10 Studios. There is no way for me to order this in terms of best lap time. So bear with me as we try to just kind of work out who is where in our minds. Kuda 93 with a 130.843, a 128.060 there for Cratrim. Bear the fun with that blistering 129.183. That should be good enough for row number either 2 or 3. Looks like it might be 3. Yeah, maybe 2. Sprazows. Good to see Sprazows out there. 133.284, a 129.1 for Slipstream, a 131.9 for Cheetah. Congratulations, Cheetah. You've done your first qualifying here in FM4. 129.347 there for Barf Monkey. Barf Monkey, the dark horse. They're gonna do good. Maybe when you least expect it. Well done, Barf Monkey. 137 there for Spills 203. That's a new name for me here in FM4. Audrex with a 128.773, a 132.163 for, I was going to say Onion, but it's not quite Onion. Yeah. Onayo. I-N. I'm going to say it that way because I'm not, it's a tongue twister when you throw the 2 O's in there with the other vowel. DTS Mondo with that 128.185. ISU, or excuse me, Uniki Bobby, I think is how I pronounced it previously. 142.40. Grim with a 133.4. Modern Weapon with 131.4. Ellis Barney with a 128.6. A 127.7 for Floofy. 134.104. Dirtied there by Ovation. The one single dirty lap out there. That's okay. It'll be back at the back of the pack there for Ovation. But let's see on those the wheels and the pedals if Ovation will sneak up a few more positions here during the actual race. Slow Motion Fire with a 138 and a 131.5 for Patches Riley. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the driver's spotlight. Nobody's in there. Nobody's in the driver's spotlight. Nobody's in there. 1 is the loneliest number. I don't even know what I'm singing. That's not the way that song goes at all. I've created a new version. Remix. Mondo Racing here in the chat says, looks like it is going to be a tight race. You better believe it. You better believe it. First quali, P11. Happy with it, says Cheetah. There you go. Big old pat on the back there for Cheetah. Picking up P11 in qualifying. All right, Fear the Fun, you got to tell me here. Somebody says that they've got you, Kuda, on a team called the Goon Squad. Can you confirm? Or I guess maybe deny?
I can confirm that we are on the same team now.
Are you the leader of the Goon Squad?
No, Mr. Slim Jim is.
Slim Jim. Where is Slim Jim?
I don't know. He doesn't show up anymore. He does his iRacing stuff now. He's too good for Forza.
Wow. So good start for the Goon Squad then, huh?
He just manages the iRacing team and the Forza team. we all one cohesive group.
Okay. Cohesive, the group may be, but what about you and the car? The Porsche Carrera GT, 582 horsepower, so quite a beast compared to what we've had in seasons past, just as of late, maybe the last 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, even maybe the Bugatti EB110 was our last S-Class car, and I don't think we got close to 582 horsepower. Maybe we did.
I thought it came with like 600.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's like one
shows
of the
what I
fastest
know.
cars in the world when it came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. Sure, I'll say the fastest car. Now, you guys have actually pulled back on the horsepower here with the Carrera GT. You've got the restrictor plate on there just to make it. I don't know. Is it to make it a little bit more manageable, the car, or does that just make things maybe a little bit more competitive, the racing?
We did more than put the restrictor plate on. We did the sacrilegious thing and put the Ferrari engine with the restrictor plate.
6.0 V12.
Yes, sir.
Not under the hood, but under the boot.
Yeah, you can say that.
And in front of the rear axle. Not a rear-wheel drive Porsche. It's a mid-wheel. Okay, so what's your experience with the car? I mean, what do you make of it this early in? I know you have kind of a hand in helping with the tuning. Is this going to be a competitive car, as Mondo Racing suggests in our chat?
Oh yeah, it should be competitive. I mean, I'm the one who it's basically my build. Slow, modern, everybody else can't just let me have something, so they had to change the wheels up a little bit. But yeah, I like it. I've always loved the Porsche Carrera GT, one of my all-time favorite cars I've ever had, like in any video game. And it's a pretty good leaderboard car and a different setup, but we were in parameters. We could not put aero on this, so that's why it's got the Ferrari V12 in it and all that good stuff, so we could make it drivable.
Make it drivable. First track being Hockenheim Ring. It's the national circuit, which isn't the shortest of the 3 track options out here at Hockenheim Ring. And then it is Suzuka in the wet. And I know a lot of folks are not too thrilled with Suzuka, and then you throw in the fact that there's rain, and that makes it, I suppose, doubly hated. What do you think about the second race of the evening?
I feel like we just need to get a hashtag blame Barney, because that's who picked the track.
Yeah, I was going to say
everybody hates the track. They hate the track, and they hate the track in the wet. So hashtag blame Barney.
I think LS Barney has made it a point that so long as he's in FM4, he will continue to play the guess the car game, which is how you as a racer get to select one of the tracks for the season. He will continue to play that game, and so long as he wins, he will continuously pick Suzuka.
It's terrible. He's got some kind of devil brewing up inside him. I'll tell you what.
Very good. All right, well, we'll see. He may have a devil brewing inside him, and we'll see how everybody fares in this car, or if they're going to be thinking that the Carrera GT is the devil here at the end of Season 40. Fear the fun. Great chatting with you. We'll catch you a little bit later on.
Yes, sir. Take it easy.
All right. Going back to the car setup here, since we're talking so much about it. Yes, the 6.0 liter V12 Ferrari motor in the back of the Carrera GT. The restrictor plate there on the motor to help restrict the horsepower a little bit. Race flywheel, race chassis reinforcement, and roll cage to give it a little bit more rigidity. And the race weight reduction to bring it down to that 3,026 pounds that you see up above. Sport transmission, race differential, and then the tires. Y'all can read. I don't have to go through every single thing. Should be a fun one. Should be a very fun one. Coming out of what was C-Class last season. I think we were in C-Class there with the Mazda MX-5 Miata. Going into now S-Class. Quite a jump for anybody who's a part of the league and maybe a little bit newer. And then there is the schedule here for Season 40 in all its glory, with that chance of precipitation a little bit later on here today. Then they get a reprieve from the wet before we go into some dark skies, nighttime racing out at the Old Mulsanne, and then dark skies up above the Daytona Super Speedway. However, you know how it goes out there. Plenty of lighting, no problemo. And now we are ready for racing. Picasso, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. to the channel. Let me go ahead and get you your alert there on the bottom of the screen. Since we were in between scenes, I'll go ahead and fixate our camera there on Cratrium, who's going to line up outside of SGR Floofy. Floofy should be on the inside line heading into turn number 1 here. Sud Curve out at Hockenheim Ring. Then it's DTS, Mondo, and Barney in row number 3. Audrex and Slipstream in row number 4. Excuse me. DTS, Mondo, and Barney in row 2. Audrex and Slipstream in row number 3. Then it's Fear the Fun and Barf Monkey in row number 4. I thought Barf Monkey might be able to jump up there into the third row. Not the case. Cuda 93 and Slow Motion Fire round out the top 10. Then it's Cheetah who got that P11 spot. First time racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Well done. Mid-pack. Nothing to shake a stick at there. And here we go. Prepping. We're beyond prepping. We're ready for 21 laps of racing here under the helicopters, the clouds, the sun, and all the fans in the virtual grandstands. Floofy, as soon as he departs from his grid spot there, everybody else is welcome to follow. And here we go for the first time in Season 40. Yes, we're back to racing in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Into turn number 1 they go. Will everybody keep it clean? We've got 2 wide. It looks like maybe even 3 wide. A little bit further there in the back, and perhaps folks letting off the accelerator, just kind of giving their opponents the courtesy wave by to get through that turn number 1 without any incident, because damage is turned on. If you do have some sort of incident that renders your vehicle a little bit hard to drive or incapacitated, well, guess what? It's going to be a long, long trot back toward pit lane entry. We've got a vehicle who is, looks like Sprazaus, who is late to get off the line, and so Sprazaus will eventually, maybe not, catch up with the rest of the field. But either way, we've got 20 cars now out on the track here. Make that, well, maybe it is 20. I didn't take count before we left. It is 20 out there, and it's Uniki Bobby, actually, who was late to get off the grid there for the start of the race. DTS Mondo has now moved up to second position around Cratrium. Cratrium dropping back to third. Excuse me, LS Barney is up to third. Cratrium dropping back to fourth. Fifth is Audrex, then it's Slipstream. Fear the Fawn, Modern Weapon, Barf Monkey, Cuda, and Slow Motion Fire there. Your top 11. Now into the Nord Curve. Back across the line, and just like that, lap number 2 of 21 gets started. That 22nd lap there in the upper left-hand corner. Just a cool-down lap. Let's drop back to Cratrium here, who was on row number 1 for the start of the race before falling back. DTS Mondo, as I mentioned, unable to compete in all of Season 39. Finished out Season 39 with 332 points. Has a very good chance of vying for the championship. And, of course, week number 1 is really a good indication of how the season is going to go. Now, if you have a bad week 1, the fortunate thing is it could very well be your drop week, but because there's 5 weeks of racing and you just don't know what might happen down the line, you want to treat every week as if it is a keeper. Audrex back there in 5th position, looking around Cratrium here. Possibly going to make a run for 4th as they sweep past the drag strip here at Hockenheim Ring. Yeah, there's a drag strip right there. Joe Beardy here in the chat saying they're beating and banging early on. That they are. Very early on already. A track that's not, it's not claustrophobic. It's not incredibly tight, but it's not. Oh, there goes Audrex now to the inside. It looks like Cratrium a little bit late braking there into turn number 2. Cratrium able to salvage it, but not before Audrex lines up with them side by side. Down the backstretch they come. Now they go ahead and cut the track here on the national circuit, and at least for now, Cratrium with the splattered paint car, the red and blue splattered paint on the white canvas, drops back to 5th. Audrex moves up. Now they go into the left-hander. Very tight there. Wheel to wheel, door to door, panel to panel, and they're going to continue that here underneath the Xbox bridge up to the right-hander, which is at least the corner that gives me the most fits, and this is the one that you don't want to mess up. You've got that kitty litter, that sand trap, that beach over there off to the left. You didn't think there was a beach in Germany? We found it. It's here at Hockenheimring. Crimson saying, dead car in Sector 1. Someone spun. Yeah, we've seen that. Somebody is just parked over there. I don't want to say hanging out as if it's for fun, but it looks like it's Brazaus's car there in the suit curve. And now here they go through turn number 1 for the 4th time of 21 laps. Joe Beardy also saying, following the Fear the Fun interview, I love the way that Fear rants. I don't think he rants. I think he's trying to confuse me half the time in those interviews. I think he's trying to throw me off. He's testing me. Speaking of Fear the Fun, he is back there in 6th position after starting in 4th place. He's got the Black Rifle Coffee Company livery here on the Carrera GT as he goes toe-to-toe here with Audrex. Audrex, who has now lost that 4th place position to Cratrim. Cratrim moving back up and has established a bit of a lead. And now he's getting harassed by Fear the Fun. Folks, if you haven't yet clicked that follow button like Sweater Vested and Picasso and JDM Boy 1997 and Simpson Hobie. I probably messed that one up, but if you haven't yet clicked that follow button, it would be greatly appreciated. Live with the Forza Spec Racing Series here on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, same time, same channel. Hope to catch you back here, and who knows? You never know what might happen. You never know what might be given away. It's always a blast here on X-Venture. We continue to hang out and watch this battle for 5th position between Audrex and Fear the Fun. Right now, SGR Floofy is got a bit of a commanding lead over DTS Mondo. However, DTS Mondo is running solo, and with that, he might be able to catch up with our race leader Floofy because Floofy is now encountering some of the back markers at this point. Very early on in this national circuit race out at Hockenheimring. As a matter of fact, it was very close to making pretty significant contact there with Sprazaus. And I don't know why I keep seeing Sprazaus on my timer when I pick the car that's parked into the corner. I show it being now Spills 2003. One of the newcomers here in FM4. I'm not entirely sure. Have we had different drivers parked over there in turn number 1 or what? Virus Thoughts, what's going on? Why aren't you out there on the track, Virus? I have a feeling that CT and LS Barney will start battling for 3rd, which will allow Audrex and Fear to catch up for a run at the podium. Yeah, I do agree, and especially with the back marker situation already manifesting early, this is not going to be a cruise, a Sunday drive for our front runners. They're gonna keep seeing traffic here. Maybe not continuously through the race because it's pretty smooth sailing right now out in front of them, but certainly as we get a little bit further along here at midpoint and then toward the end of the race, they should have a few more encounters. Here comes Slipstream now moving up the spot. So we were mentioning CT and Barney and Audrex and Fear. Well, don't at all forget Slipstream here in 7th, and then in tow is Barf Monkey, who did very well during qualifying and is showing up nicely here in the early stages, the first quarter or so of the first race of the season. Up to 4th with Cratrim now, who is challenging Barney because, Barney's getting held up a little bit. There's Sprazaus in 18th position of the 20 drivers out on the track. Bit of tire smoke there for Spazzaus. He goes off into the drag strip, allowing Barney and Drex to get by, or excuse me, Cratrim to get by without any incident. And now into turn number 1 they go. Barney, oh gosh, it seemed like he came a little bit slow into turn number 1. Virus thoughts. I pulled out of the season. I wasn't feeling the car, and I got stuff going on in real life. Completely understandable there, Virus. Completely understandable. Nobody will nobody will blame you for that. Not at all. But hey, you got your Miata sorted out, so that's cool. Virus Thoughts, who was a participant in Season 39, happened to be racing the very car that he had newly acquired. It's always neat when you could drive your personal vehicle, whatever it is you own in the real world, when you can drive it in a video game. I can do that. You want to take a guess at what vehicle that is? I don't know. Throw your guesses in the chat. What game? No. What vehicle in Forza Motorsport 7 do I own in the real world? Have fun. This is going to be a really good battle here for third position. Cratrim moves up to third. Barney falls back to fourth. Fear the Fun is hanging tight there. The one thing that can come back to haunt Fear the Fun is his inconsistency, and that would allow Audrex, Slipstream, Barf Monkey to get into the mix there. And Kuda, who's in ninth, if Kuda can get the pace going here, there's clean air out in front of him. Might be able to get up to this gaggle that is third through eighth. And yes, I called a pack of 6 cars a gaggle. I think it's the official classification, especially when they're Carrera GTs. Thanks all for hanging out with me. Dustin Moore on the mic. Lots of fun already. I'm really digging it. We got the Ferrari motor here in the Carrera GT, and we will for all 5 weeks of racing. 9 races in total, and it all culminates in week number 5, which is a 45-lapper out at Mugello. That'll be a fun one. Come hang out with us, because really, what else do you have going on a Tuesday? What else? Let's go to Audrex in 6th position. He is sandwiched between Fear the Fun, and then back behind him there in 7th. That is going to be... I had the name, then I lost the name. Slipstream. And we've got a vehicle that's in the pit lane right now. That's going to be 19th position of Unicky Bobby. It's probably ISU Nicky Bobby. I don't know why I'm saying Unicky Bobby. That makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever. Let's run through the field here. STR Floofy continues to be our race leader. DTS Mondo about, I don't know, maybe a second, 2 seconds behind. Cratrim in third, Barney in fourth, Fear the Fun, Audrex, Slipstream, Barf Monkey, Kuda, and Slow Motion Fire. That's your top 10. Then it's Modern Weapon. I'm going to say, let me go ahead and just say Onion, even though it's not Onion. Cheetah, Grim, Patches Riley, Wisenmitten, Ovation, Sprizzaus, Nicky Bobby, Spills. 20 drivers of the 20 who started still out there. However, Spills is just kind of parked there in the runoff section of turn number 1 and may very well get disconnected here sooner rather than later. This battle for 5th. This is something. Audrex now. Well, I shouldn't say now getting bothered by Fear the Fun. These two have been pretty much at each other's throats the entire race. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with Fear the Fun. Here, the Fun just able to save it before rolling up into the tire barrier there. Just saves it, and because of that course correction, he drops off the pace. LS Barney throws some tire smoke, and if you don't have contact or if you're losing grip with the road, you're not propelling yourself forward any faster, and with that, Audrex and Fear of Fun start to close in, and not far behind, it's Slipstream and Barf Monkey. I was saying turn number 1. I was completely misreading the map, the orientation of the map. That is turn number 2, where Spills sits, and DTS Mondo appears to have fallen even further behind SGR Floofy. That or SGR Floofy is just that dang good and is starting to really take off. And as soon as I say that DTS Mondo gets a couple of tires into the grass, that won't help you either. Imagine being the dead car in turn number 2. Couldn't be me, says Spills. Hey, you know, Spills, I don't know how long you've been running in Forza Motorsport, but these things happen, and perhaps it's just a bad start to the season. Perhaps it's just a bad race, but get back up on that horse, and we'll see you getting around the track. Find yourself somebody competitive out there for your skill level, and you'll be racing again in no time. Let's go back to Audrex here. It continues to be a close battle here for 4th. He's that good. Nerf him, says Born as Ghost. Yeah, we need a handicap in the field, please. It's the beauty of the Forza Spec Racing Series. It really is. And don't be overwhelmed. Don't feel like you have to be the best driver out on the track. That's not what this league is intended to be. Not at all. If you have that impression, then that's the wrong impression. I don't know who gave you that. But this really is a beer league, as they call it, welcoming drivers of all skill levels. All you have to possess is the willingness to race clean. You do that, you'll come back each and every week. You'll be welcome back, no problemo. Reddit.com/r/FM4. That's where you need to go to get registered. They have everything you need to know about the vehicle setup. And then if you need some tips and tricks in terms of tuning the Carrera GT, don't worry, they've got you covered there as well. They've got somebody who's always at the ready to help somebody out. Pure beer league, says Virus Thoughts. Yes, pure unadulterated beer league action. Oof, that was. Hold on, this is a family friendly channel. Careful. I got a little racy there, and that was not of the motorsport variety either. There's Barney just playing defense right now. This wall is cool, says Spills. Yeah, tell us, how many tires can you count over there, Spills? Let us know. Give us a head count there on the Pirellis that are stacked up along the wall in turn 2. Into the hairpin goes Barney and Audrex here on lap number 12. May Avenue Mayday. What in the name of Forza Motorsport is going on here, brother? Forza Spec Racing Series, May. This is the coolest dang racing that you will find in the Forza community in Forza Motorsport here today at this very moment. Any other moment of the day, I can't promise you anything, but at this point, this is the best you will find, and it is damn good. So that's no... They're no slouch here in FM4. Audrex running right up onto the back bumper. Encroaching. Audrex is that tree that your neighbor owns that they planted a couple of months back, and you knew you were going to hate the tree from the start, and the thing is just growing like a weed. And it's starting to creep. Starting to creep into the property. And so you just go out there and you cut that sucker down. No, Audrex ain't going to do that. Audrex is going to look for the opportunity here. Well, I was referring to Audrex as the tree that is encroaching. Barney will block respectfully, very sportsmanlike manner here. And he's going to hold on to 4th right now. And maybe Audrex is just waiting for a moment to attack. Possibly. Oh, you had to relaunch the stream because the audio. Well, I'm glad it's on your end and not mine. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, the tree that turns into a weed. No, it's actually the opposite. It's the weed that turns into a tree. They planted something that some schmuck of a garden center was like, yeah, it's a tree. This is the thing you want. It won't suck up all the water out of your yard. It's actually just a weed, and then it grows into a tree. I'm sorry, Audrex. This is a horrible, horrible analogy. you got an awesome TV camera in a turn 2. Okay, sure, why not? Why not? Here you go. Spills has set up shop here. Well, I swear I have the camera set on you, and the camera wants to do its own thing. It's one of those, It's one of the few cameras in Forza Motorsport 7 that likes to follow the action and not just a singular vehicle. So you tried there, Spill. Of course, I could have changed out of the broadcast or the spectate view, and that would have done it. Get a hood view from your car. Audrex, the battle goes on, and if this is one that plays out through the rest of the season, color me happy. Born as Ghost coming in with the pit alarm there, resubscribing 10 months. Thank you so much, Born as Ghost. Man, it is good to hear that sound again. It's been a while. And granted, I did have Haldink, Sober David, and Ghibli Giblets here this past Sunday who also subscribed, but because it wasn't a racing stream, it was a different audio effect. So the pit alarm, it's back. Thank you, Born as Ghost, for ringing it. Welcome to Pit Lane. For those of you who are watching the channel, the very most that I ask of you is to be a follower of the channel. If, however, you decide you wish to support the channel that much more, a paid subscription or using your Twitch Prime, which gives you a free monthly subscription here on Twitch, all you got to do is link your Amazon account to your Twitch account. You'll get one free subscription. Your Amazon Prime account, I should say. Link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Don't worry, they're one and the same. Amazon is the parent company of Twitch, so you don't have to worry about any tomfoolery there. You could use your Prime sub here, and that would be greatly appreciated, or not. Completely understandable, but at least if you're a follower of the channel, that's all I ask. But those of you who do go above and beyond, it's huge thanks, because all of those proceeds that I get after Twitch takes their cut go directly back into the channel. For those of you who have been watching the last 3 weeks, that certainly was the case. $300, $400, heck, I think it was even $500 with the gift cards included. More than $500 of giveaways over the last 5 weeks. It's been insane, and that's all thanks to the support back in March and April with the unprecedented amount of subscribers to this channel. We were up to 55, I think it was at one point. Stellar stuff. I know we've had our camera here on the same drivers for the last, I don't know, 12 laps, but really this is a great battle here for 4th position, and we're just going to continue to allow Barney and Audrex to entertain us. Spills a lot with that Twitch Prime. Oh, it's almost as if you respond to. Thank you so much, Spills, for considering your use of the Prime subscription here, and hope to bring you lots of value for streams to come. Hope to see you getting around the track here in the next 4.5 Tuesdays. SGR Floofy, who was our Season 39 champion, picked this vehicle for Season 40, the Carrera GT, is our front runner. Oh, and did he make contact with the back marker? I think I saw contact. Wow, look at the tire degradation up front. This could be a factor in Season 40. 61%. Now, it's not like they're driving on ice skates with that kind of tire wear, but certainly compared to a lot of the the vehicles that have been run in past seasons, this one is bringing the greatest amount of tire wear that we've seen in a long time. And by the end of this race, you could probably tack on another 10%. Virus thought saying everyone was a fan of the Miata. Yeah, I mean, that's the other cool thing about the FM4 here is that you could have a vehicle which you think is just pitiful, that you just absolutely loathe, and then the next season, whoever the champion is, might pick a vehicle that you're like, wow, this is good stuff. And with 700 plus cars in Forza Motorsport 7, you just never know. You just never know when you might find a diamond in the rough, something that you've never raced before. Floofy now appears to be unimpeded, continuing into turn number 1, followed by DTS Mondo. Cratrim now easily in third at this point. Virus Dots with the Prime subscription. You guys are making me blush. I'm going to have to get on camera here in between the races just so you guys can see my red face. No, greatly, greatly appreciated. I cannot overstate that enough. Here comes Drex now into turn number 1. Puts it up on the right-hand side panels there of LS Barney going into turn number 1. Continuing to heckle him. Got to use the heckle word, right? It's baseball season. That's Drex sitting behind the backstop. Yeah, bada bada. Swing bada bada. Spills a lot, giving us an update that he's 1,200 seconds back. It could be worse. It could be worse. You could be DNF'd. By the way, Virus Thoughts with 3 months of the Prime sub. Thank you, Virus. 3 months. We had our, I think maybe our third 12-month subscriber, 1-year subscriber. Sober David? No, actually that would be 4. Ghibli Giblets, Sober David, Not So Tin Man, and DWM Frog, I believe, are the 4 12-month subscribers. And if I did miss anybody, I'm not doing it intentionally. I just don't have my list in front of me. But man, we've got some folks now who are not only in double digits, but are working beyond a year of subscribing to the channel. Whew. Hot dog! Here comes Fear the Fun. He's going to make it a trio of fun for the top 3. Top 4. Well, hold on. Let me rethink that statement. He's going to make it a trio here for the battle for 4th. They are in the top 6. Virus says, Dustin, I found a car event happening in August. You should come down to Florida for it. I could send you the details, but it's at Sebring International. I do want to try to get to a race at some point, and if I do that, I will let y'all know when and where, and we could do like a meetup type thing. I want to do that at some point. So definitely send me the details, and I'll see what's possible. I do have a few things that are happening here in the summer months, so it might have to be something in the fall, but I do want to try to get something set up here. Granted, it'll be stateside, so I know for those of you who are watching across the pond, I'm sorry. I don't have the international travel in me at the moment, but hopefully now with things starting to settle down a little bit, and I know I say that cautiously because we're all optimistic that things are settling down, and of course that is with a complete understanding of what's happening over in other parts of the world like India that are just completely devastated right now with their second bout of COVID. We'll obviously do things safely if there is an opportunity to have a meetup. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas, let me know, and perhaps we'll coordinate something. Here comes Drex now, and Fear the Fun. What inconsistency, he says. Dustin, what inconsistency are you talking about? I've made my way up to 5th position, and very soon here, he'll be challenging LS Barney for 4th. Well done. Fear the Fun. The Goon Squad. Their fearless leader is not racing tonight, but Fear the Fun is representing very, very well. Let's hop back to that here on our X-Venture Rewind. You betcha. We got rewind capabilities. What do you guys take this as? What do you guys take this stream as? Hold on there, Mortismo. I gotta give you the proper acknowledgement here. Mortismo now dropping the Prime subscription. Hot damn! Look at that. 6 months, half a year is Mortismo. Thank you for the support. You guys are landing on thick tonight. I don't know how to react to this. Oh, Barf Monkey, who is up in 8th right now, kicked the back end out of the Carrera GT. Yeah, the tires on the back, not as great as the front, but they are suffering back there. Here on the 21st and final lap, the white flag has dropped for the majority of the field. Let's go up to our race leader. Joe Beardy, rooting on Fear, says, go, Fear, go. We'll get back to that here in just a moment, but we do want to give Floofy, our race leader and soon-to-be victor here in season number 40, race number 1. A little bit of camera time, because he hasn't gotten much of it here. Out of Nord Curve, up to the line. SGR Floofy picks right back up where he left off in season 39. Gets the win here in race number 1. Cratrim right back behind our second place driver. That's going to be DTS Mondo, but DTS Mondo holds on to it for second. Cratrim for third. LS Barney in fourth. Let's go to Fear the Fun in fifth as they come out of the final corner. He's not going to be able to pass on Drex. And so in fourth, it'll be LS Barney. Audrex in fifth. Fear the Fun in sixth. Seventh is Slipstream, who holds off Barf Monkey. And then it looks like Kuda is going to grab a top 10 finish here. Currently in ninth with nobody around him. So as long as he can keep that Carrera GT pointed in the right direction, he should be able to hold off Modern Weapon, who is in 10th. Slow Motion Fire in 11th. An Onion with Too Many Eyes in 12th. Cheetah in 13th. Grim in 14th. Patches Riley 15th. Ovation. Well done, Ovation. Going from the back of the pack for the start of this race on wheel and pedals. Finishing in 16th position. I'll go ahead and break down the standings for the rest of the field once we get back from our ad break. I will take an ad break here. Hear me out, folks. It allows those of you who might be joining in, and I'm saying those of you, your fellow viewers here on X-Venture, it allows those folks who might be joining us a little bit later on to get right into the action and not have to have those pre-rolls. You're not going to miss anything, I promise you. I'm putting pen to paper, annotating who finished where. When we come back, we're going to talk to some of our drivers in the driver's spotlight. For those of you who are subscribers to the channel, congrats. You don't have to listen to the annoying ads. Instead, I'll give you some music to kind of jam out to. We'll be right back on X-Venture. You're watching the Season 40 opener of the Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 1, here on X-Venture. I'm Dustin Moore. I'll be right back. And welcome back to X Venture Live on Twitch TV. Howdy, I'm Dustin Moore. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I didn't realize it till just now. We hit subtrain status. Toot, toot. Oh gosh, I'm gonna regret that. I'm really gonna regret that. You guys are gonna turn that into a meme, and then ugh. All right. Anyway, race number 1 of season 40 is in the books. Congratulations to SGR Floofy who picks up that win. But rather than talking with our winning driver here in the in between race 1 and race 2, instead we'll bring in LS Barney, finishing 4th. And Barney, man, you guys, they're in the top 5. It was very, very close.
Yeah, at the end, Fear and Aldrich had me really sweating.
Had you really sweating? Drex, or excuse me, Fear the Fun actually kind of came out of nowhere the last couple of laps. He was there in the mix throughout the race, but kind of drifted back a little bit, but then really poured it on thick for those last 2 laps. Did you think that, I don't know, between Audrex and Fear the Fun that they would kind of gang up on you, or were you pretty confident in your defensive maneuvering?
Well, to be fair, I was only really worried about Aldrich because when we were alone without any traffic, he was catching me really quickly. He had much more pace, but when when it was just Fear behind me, like earlier on in the race, then I wasn't too worried because I was slowly pulling him by like a tenth each lap. But once Aldrich got me and I was starting to lose time just fighting him, and I saw Fear just getting ever so close, I thought that I might be in a bit of trouble by the time the end of the race comes around.
If there was maybe one more lap there for Audrex, would that have been possibly the difference between you finishing in 4th and then maybe finishing 5th or 6th?
Oh, definitely. I think one more lap, my tires would have gone because I was at 86% by the time I stopped.
Let's
So
one more lap could have done you in. Let's talk about
yeah.
that a little bit. This is kind of unusual territory for the Forza Spec Racing Series. Not typically do we see tire degradation being an issue, especially in these first 4 weeks where it's the shorter races. Maybe in the grand finale, but even then, it's mostly just fuel. So this is a season where the tire setup or the tire situation is really going to come into play.
Yeah, I think the only time I've seen tire wear be a problem was in the Scirocco season because we were front wheel drive. But yeah, I wasn't expecting tire wear to be a problem for these cars.
What about the
But
back, though, too? I mean, we saw, we were looking at somebody's vehicle situation. It was definitely favoring the front in terms of degradation. How about the back, too?
the back can get a bit troublesome, but I think mostly the most you need to worry about is the fronts. Even though you do spin the rears a bit, I think the fronts are me what's gonna run out on you before the rears.
This gives me a chance to kind of bring out my inner nerd and get to talk about tires and strategy because now, and all thanks to you, LS Barney, we head out to Suzuka in the rain. Now, of course, in Forza Motorsport 7, the game automatically applies rain tires. We'll see if that's what has if that's what the future has in store in Forza Motorsport the next iteration. But what about the rain tires? What do you think is going to happen with them here tonight?
Usually with the way Forza works, since race tires, which we're running already, they usually wear faster, but I think these are considered like sport tires. I think that's what the compound they're supposed to be. So I think these should be fine on wear, especially with it being rain and they're not gonna be like as much like spinning on like just dry concrete. So I think the tire wear should be fine. The biggest problem I'm gonna say is once they do start to get worn down a little bit towards the end of the race with the because it should be 100% chance rain. I think that's going to cause some issues with spinning.
You're always very. I hate this cliche term, but I can't think of a better phrasing right now. You're always cool, calm, and collected when you jump into the driver's spotlight here, or I guess casually walk into the driver's spotlight. I don't imagine you jumping in. Uh, but are you secretly in your head kind of laughing maniacally as we get ready for this race at Suzuka, knowing how many folks of FM4 can just absolutely despise not only this track, but then the track with rain?
Oh, definitely. Partially because I know everyone hates it, but partially because during when I practiced earlier today, I was setting really good lap times. I wasn't too far off of Krachem's time in rivals, so I'm expecting a good race as long as I don't mess anything up. But it is definitely fun to hear everyone complain about it.
Okay. So knowing that it is in the rain and folks maybe aren't so happy with the track, how far up can you get in qualifying? Where do you want to be? I mean, obviously everybody strives to be on pole, but where do you think realistically you'll be? And is that going to be a good starting position for you in terms of the chaos that might be at mid or back of the pack?
I think it is possible for a third. It depends on how Monda's. But I don't think I'm gonna out qualify Floofy or Cratrum. So I'd say about third or fourth should be. It should be fine as long as they get a good start. Then I won't have to worry about anyone behind me unless someone's controller disconnects and just rams through the entire field.
Yep. Okay. All right, LS Barney, you created this monster, and now you have to play it out. So we'll see how well you do during qualifying, and then, of course, in the race itself.
All right.
All right, there goes LS Barney back into the car to get ready for the race. We'll bring in here real quick before qualifying gets kicked off. Cheetah, well done there in the first race. By my count, you finished in 13th. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I thought it was a good race.
You finished or you qualified P11, right?
Yeah.
So if you good start with qualifying, a few steps back in the race itself, what do you maybe have to do differently? And I know this is a very different track and condition setup, but what might you have to do a little bit differently here to not go backward, but rather forward in your finishing spot?
I think it just mainly was at the beginning of the race. I didn't want to hit anyone in the rear end, and so I was kind of trying to take it a little easy in the first few corners. But I mean, I think it wasn't a bad race at all. I wasn't expecting to get that good of qualifying. But yeah, I think just trying to find those little holes that I can stay in the position in the first few corners is keen.
Okay. If you were to give one word descriptor here, I know I like to throw this question on people from time to time just to put them on the spot. Give me one word to describe your experience with the Carrera GT and its current configuration at this point.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay, that's like the go-to. That's the go-to. Maybe we'll get somebody who says something different, but that's the go-to one. Is interesting. All right, very good. Well, Cheetah, awesome job in your debut race, and now the second one here of the season. Best of luck to you, and we'll see how well you qualify out here at Suzuka in the wet.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. I love it when we get drivers who not only are new to the series, but then are like, yeah, let me hop into the chat and have a little banter with Dustin. That's always greatly appreciated. Folks, I did run a predictor, and then I realized I didn't actually talk about the predictor. I'm going to go ahead and run it again. Those of you who cast your vote, I've gone ahead and sent back your bits, but let's do this again. And folks, I can't say this enough, but I will only say it once so as not to annoy you. These channel points here, yes, you can have fun wagering them, but what the value is that it gives you a chance to enter into some of the giveaways that I have on the broadcast here from time to time. So the more channel points you have, that's a good thing. And one way you can earn more is to participate in these polls. Now, of course, you can also lose them, but you just never know. So let's do this again. How many dirty lap drivers at Suzuka in the qualifying session? And I'm going to go 0 to 1 or 2 or more are your two options. Use your channel points to go ahead and wager a guess. I'll give you 5 minutes to do so. Let me get some audio here for qualifying. It's a fun little way for you all to interact here on the broadcast. And so even if you don't use the channel points for entering any of the giveaways, at least do it just for the sake of, trying to steal points from others, right? It's always a fun way to look at it. So use your channel points. They're at the very bottom of the chat. Yes, gambling at its finest. It's just they're not actual currency. It's just points that you earn for watching the broadcast. And see if you get it right. Wager a guess. Will there be 0 or 1 dirty lap qualifier, or will we see 2 or more here at this wet rendition of qualifying out at Suzuka? We've got DTS Mondo, who is the first one out on the track right now. Well, they're all out on the track. He's the first one to get around this point, coming up on the hairpin, and there is not the chicane. This is the full circuit without the chicane coming up, so instead they're going to go ahead and just swing a wide and long right-hander going up to Spoon. That left-hander before you make the charge down the back straightaway toward the start-finish line. And already we've got the black screen, which usually indicates that we are losing somebody from the lobby, unfortunately. And I do believe we've got more drivers here in this qualifying session than we had. Oh, it was Fear the Fun. And yes, we did have 21 drivers out there as opposed to the 20 out at Hockenheimring, but unfortunately Fear the Fun is out. 89% of you say that there will be 2 or more Dirty Lap drivers. One daring wager is saying that there is only going to be 0 or 1. We'll have to see. Here comes DTS Mondo now up to the chicane. Before you make the charge toward the start-finish line, that final right-hander, and then off you go. We'll throw the stats there below the track map, give you an idea of what the times are looking like, or at least who's got the quickest time out there. DTS Mondo at 2:15.683. We'll see who inevitably is going to top that as they come around, only because the standing start, you got to take that with a grain of salt. You're going to start to see some better laps here on laps 2 and 3, the flying laps. Now, this is a bit longer of a track. It's in the wet. Could complicate things. Could force some drivers, despite it being their flying lap, to maybe not necessarily be their quickest lap, which is always a bummer. You want to nail it here on lap 2 or 3 as Kuda right there demonstrating that early on in the lap, get in the grass and boom, automatically invalidated dirty lap. The quickest dirty lap will always be slower than the slowest clean lap in terms of ordering the grid. Big J Bishop saying, I inherited Slim Jim internet. There you go. Did the Florida internet crash on him, says Virus? Yeah, it seems so. Martismo saying, Suzuka in the rain. We ran it with the Scirocco, and I got my highest finish. Ellis Barney setting this one up. Craytrim now with a 2:13.807. Craytrim, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, only managed 1 victory there in Season 39. So tough going for Craytrim, but very stiff competition with SGR Floofy out there. We even had RZ McQueen out there for a few races. And what few he did show up to, he did exceptionally well. So Craytrim trying to turn things around. However, I say on a bad note, but how is finishing 3rd a bad note? I would be jumping for joy if I finished 3rd in any races, whether it be a public lobby or a private lobby. Let's go to LS Barney right now with the 4th quickest time. No headlamps on here in the rain. Forza Motorsport 7 takes control of your headlamp situation as well as your tires and has decided that there will be no headlamps. Shouldn't affect the drivers any, but it just gives the strange look at the cars here in the rain when you would expect them to have those headlamps beaming in our face. Can't have a dirty lap if you don't lap, says Big J. That's true. That's big brain thoughts right there. Oh gosh, a Burgess Rage. Thank you for the follow. I know that was 14 minutes ago. My apologies. Let me go ahead and run the alert for you. A Burgess Rage. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Lots of follows here today. It always surprises me when we happen to have folks stumble across the channel who haven't been here before, and that's good. That's good. I enjoy that. The racing directory here on Twitch is kind of barren from time to time. So to have new viewership is a sight for sore eyes. I've never had sore eyes here on the streams. When you have when you have 1,000 executables on 2 or more, says Virus Thoughts. Oh, going big on it, and I don't know. I haven't paid any attention to the ticker to give us an indication of who is right or wrong here at this point. Virus, Slipstream, not slipstreaming, but rather slipping. The back end of the Carrera GT, all about here on lap 3 of 3 of qualifying. Our race itself will be 14 laps. 14 laps here on Suzuka Full. Fewer amount of laps than Hockenheimring, albeit Hockenheimring a shorter track. Look at this. Slipstream going to go to the inside there of Grimm. Now they're ghosted, which is a good thing. Allows all 21, or in this case now 20 drivers to qualify simultaneously. However, don't think for a moment that having those ghosted cars makes it easy to have an impeccable lap. Those ghosted cars out there can be a bit of an eyesore. Speaking of sore eyes. And by that I mean looking into a corner can clutter up your view when you're trying to nail an apex. All right, let's see how many of you got the predictor correct, and then we'll throw another predictor up. Sorry I missed it for the first race, but we'll get another predictor up here for this second race after everybody's come around. Here comes Patches Riley. He's going to showboat a little bit. Well, actually, it looks like it was accidental, not on purpose there. I thought maybe Patches was going ahead and flinging it out there on purpose on this final lap, but I don't think that to be the case. And there comes Nicky Bobby back behind him. Ah, the Cheez-It car is Patches Riley. I'm a fan of Cheez-Its. The Cheddar Jack. The Cheddar Jack. Those are my go-to. Those are my go-to. All right. We probably have the timer going right now, which is counting down the lobby. And sure enough, here they come back out of the lobby. And we'll take a look at the times, see where everybody finished, how many dirty laps we had, give you all some points, and then we'll put up. Oh, yeah. Let the monster that is Suzuka in the wet rain down, figuratively and metaphorically, on the qualifying times out here. And namely is Kuda93, who probably, we would see a little bit further up in the grid ordering with a clean lap. But unfortunately for Kuda, is going to have to settle for a little bit of the back of the pack action here for the start of this one out at Suzuka. DTS Mondo with a 2:11.5, a 2:18 dirty there for Kuda, 2:11.7 for Floofy. Onion with too many eyes at 2:14.8. Weisenmitten with a 2:17.0 dirty. Then that's with Onion's dirtied lap as well. Onion with too many eyes. CMD Slipstream with a 2:12.9. 2:16 for Modern Weapon dirty. 2:17. Yeah, that 2:16 quite quick, but dirty lap there for Modern Weapon. Cheetah with a 2:17.8. Well done. 2:13.4 for Barf Monkey. Love the name. Slow Motion Fire with a 2:17.3. Cratrium with a 2:11.725. A 2:12.7 there for Barney. That's quick. That's a quick one. Ovation on the wheel and pedals. Not sure how the weather's treating him there, but a 2:22.187. Audrex with a 2:12, a 2:14 for Born as Ghost. 2:26.293 there for Spills. Nicky Bobby with a dirty 2:36, a 2:18 for Patches, a 2:21 there for Sprazouse, and a bunch of Otts there for Fear the Fun, who DNF'd at the start of that qualifying session. All right, let me go ahead and throw the schedule up here. The season 30, or not season, gosh, I keep saying season 30. After 10 seasons in the 30s, we've moved on to the 40s. I got to get that sorted. I do see Weisenmitten there in the driver's spotlight, but hold on real quick. Let me get the next predictor up here real quick. Let's see. Will. Oh, actually, let's do this. Who will finish first? Floofy or Mondo? Anybody else? Actually, someone else, I'll say. And we're going to go ahead and leave that one open for a good 15 minutes. Use your channel points. Use them wisely or use them recklessly. I don't mind. Let's go ahead to our driver's spotlight. We've got Weisenmitten in there. Weisen, can you hear me? I see your mic is muted. Oh, and he's out. He was there, and now he's gone. And I don't know why I'm hearing bleeps and bloops on my Discord. I think maybe I accidentally took my streamer mode off. Let me try to re-enable that, because I don't need the bleeps and bloops happening here during the broadcast. We don't need the extra sound effects here tonight. 21 drivers loaded up in the lobby. The rain is still falling out here at Suzuka, although I think there is a chance that it may not truly be at play for the beginning of this race. For some reason, I seem to believe that there's only a chance of rain, and so when they get the lobby going here, we might see those drops disappear from the environment, and rather we'll start off with a dry track, and then maybe the precipitation will come. Or I could be just imagining things, and we're going to have rain from the start. Who knows? Who knows? I should use my camera more often. No, the only reason I'm using it is because for my other broadcast, for my MLB The Show broadcast, I do use it because it's only during that gameplay that I think the streamer reaction counts for something. Here when they're racing, much like in real world racing, you guys don't see the commentators when the cars are going around the track, apart from a few cutaways like this. Rather, all the attention is focused on the cars. So limited cam stuff, but at least this way, you guys can kind of understand who it is that you're hearing from. That way I'm not a disembodied voice, and that's the only reason. I'm nobody special beyond that. But this way, you kind of you see, I guess, a little bit of me and my lovely step and deliver back there, or step and repeat, or whatever they call those things. It works for the interviews. I think so. If only we had somebody who was in the interview section that was able to interview, but that's okay. We'll get to our driver spotlight here at the end of the broadcast, which is where we see most of the people jumping in and having a good time. And I apologize that I'm frequently looking over there, just because I'm monitoring things as it relates to race operations. And I know the camera's right here. I know you guys are right here. Into my eyes. Sorry, but with the multiple monitors, I glance away from time to time. 21 drivers loaded up in the lobby here for race number 2 of season 40. Already off to a great start. SGR Floofy picking up the win. That's 50 points, by the way. If you win a race, it's 50 points in weeks 1 through 4. If you win the grand finale race, the points are doubled there because it's just one race. So a cool 100 to whoever gets that one. It's your top 4 weeks in terms of your points total. And those top 4 weeks then become your championship point total. The driver with the most points obviously becomes the winner. What does that get you? Well, it gets you bragging rights here. You get to be alongside 39 other drivers who have done exceptionally well here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, but then also you get to pick the vehicle for the subsequent season. So whoever wins the championship here in the Carrera GT Season 40 will pick the vehicle for Season 41. If you are on the fence about whether or not you'd like to participate here in the FM4 League, let me go ahead and just get you right off that fence right now and knock you over to the side of at least looking at more information, getting more details, and helping you, maybe encouraging you to participate. Reddit.com/r/FM4. The details are there in the chat. The Nightbot has provided the link. Head on over there, and you can see what the current vehicle setup is like. And if you're intrigued, I definitely encourage you to race, even if it's just for one race, just to try it out. As long as you race clean, that's all that matters. You race clean, and then who knows? Maybe you'll enjoy it enough that you'll be back for the next week. It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. And you'll of course be welcome back if you race clean. All right, they've loaded up the lobby. Let me go ahead and give the audio back to y'all. And there's the countdown. So it'll be DTS Mondo on pole with Cratrium. You've got your predictor there. Will Floofy or Mondo win? Mondo because he's on pole, or Floofy because Floofy won race number 1. Use your channel points. Make your pick. And we'll see here in about, 20, 30 minutes time which of y'all are the winners who guessed correctly. Revved up, DTS Mondo, as soon as they leave their grid box, everybody else is free to depart as well. Oh, a little false start there by Audrex. Kick the tires, light the fires. The rain is most certainly falling down here at Suzuka for 14 laps, and down toward turn number 1 they roar. 582 horsepower, 434 foot-pounds of torque, 3,026 pounds of vehicle curb weight brings these Porsche Carrera GTs to S800 Performance Index here in Forza Motorsport 7. Cratrium there in third. Floofy has now moved up to second position. And DTS Mondo is going to lead them through the squigglies, the S's out here at Suzuka. And we are doing the full track. So, and there goes Floofy off the track. Let's go ahead and move back to Barney here now in third. I was going to say fourth, but with Floofy's departure, that allows Barney to move up a spot. Not entirely sure what happened to Floofy, although I could take an educated guess there that a little bit of understeer because of the wet track and the power of the Carrera, and that just sent him off into the grass and the cones. A perfect time for those of you who are subscribers to the channel to go ahead and drop some of those Kappa cones there in the chat. Anytime anybody punts those off the track is a good time for the Kappa cone symbol emote. ETS Mondo, our pole sitter out of qualifying, our race leader. Cratrium in second. Barney in third. Borna's Ghost. Borna's Ghost in fourth position. Floofy able to recover in fifth. Fear of the Fun in sixth. Cheetah in seventh. Barf Monkey in eighth. Audrex is ninth. And Slow Motion Fire in 10th position. There you go. Virus Dots. You got to figure it out. Make use of those emotes. Those of you who have subbed, it's one of the perks. Spam them if you wish. I don't care. Out of the final right-hander toward the start-finish line. And the beginning of lap number 2 of 14. We'll see if maybe the rain lets up. I thought maybe we wouldn't have rain for the start of the race. Maybe it will go away. And especially if we all sing the song. Rain, rain, go away, come another day. Come again another day, or something like that. Or just never at all, as I'm sure most of the drivers are hoping. We do have 2 night races on the schedule here. One next, actually not next week, but week 3 with the Circuit de la Sarthe, Old Mulsanne, out at Le Mans. That'll be in the dark, and that will be dark. And also under the stars, but under the stadium lighting out at Daytona the Speedway in week number 4. There's Audrex now up to 6. Fear the Fun off the track, and he does so again. Barf Monkey gets lined up next to him. Barf Monkey with one heck of a recovery goes ahead and ducks it to the inside there through the hairpin. Just doesn't have enough oomph to take 7th position away from Fear the Fun, but that was one solid recovery by Barf Monkey when it looked like he was going to send it sideways and possibly run wide and into the grass there at the hairpin. Somehow keeps him from locking up and makes the recovery. Let's check it out there on the X-Venture Rewind. Looks like you guys got about maybe 5 minutes or so left on the predictor. Will it be Floofy or Mondo who gets the win? Fear the Fun kicks out the back end, coming through 130R. I think I got that number correct. The sharp left-hander there on the back straightaway. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tire situation very early on in the race, just to kind of get an understanding of what's going on here with these rain tires. Up to 7% all around here on Fear the Fun's car, so equal distribution of tire wear. And I'm sorry, you guys were watching the replay over and over again. There you go. There's a look at the tire degradation on Fear the Fun's car. 8% on all 4 corners. Great trim in second. Let's go back to Barney in third. Virus Thoughts, great question, and actually it makes me remember that Joe Beardy, you and I were going to chat. So Joe Beardy, if you want to hit me up on Discord, man, let me know, and perhaps we can coordinate. I'm sorry that I completely spaced on that. Like I said, these last 3 weeks since concluding season 39, it seemed like a whole different world for me because I was playing baseball here on the channel, which I know for you all is unusual content. It's more up my alley in terms of the games that I play. And so the last 3 weeks, like, my focus shifted. So Joe Beardy, I know you and I were supposed to chat. Hit me up and we could talk that one out. I know. I am a dork. I think it's the greatest descriptor that you can give me is dork. That is I. Goes Barney now out of the final chicane, and my computer all of a sudden sounds like it wants to lift off like a helicopter. I don't know what that's about. We're not losing any frames here. I'm the one wearing a coat, computer. I'm the one that's hot. You should be good. Luffy in 4th, Audrex in 5th, Fear the Fun in 6th. Let's go to Barf Monkey in 7th. Yeah, I should have realized, Joe Beardy, when you weren't out there on the track that, yeah, I'd missed something. I had overlooked something here. Comes Barf Monkey with Slow Motion Fire there in 8th position. And Slow Motion Fire, I say this, I know he's been in FM4 for a very, very long time now, is one of the organizers, but I feel like we've seen some solid progression and improvement from Slow Motion Fire. It could just be the car, it could just be my eyes, but Slow Motion Fire, I believe, if he can keep this pace going right now, is in a good position to be in the top 10 here coming out of week number 1 after finishing in 11th in race number 1. If he can add a few more points here in race 2, then top 10 is certainly possible. I told y'all 50 points to the race winner, then it drops down to 47 when you finish in 2nd. So big opportunity here for DTS Mondo, who's currently the leader, finished 2nd in the race out at Hockenheim Ring, to redeem some of those points. SGR Floofy, who won our race out at Hockenheim Ring, currently in 4th. That would be a noticeable drop in points for him, and could even put him at risk of being behind Cratrim on the overall standing coming out of week 1, because Cratrim finished 3rd and is currently running in 2nd, not meaning to jinx those drivers. Let's go to Floofy here in 4th. Well, actually, we're already there. You see Barney up ahead by about 4 or 5 car lengths. Got a little squirrely there out of the left-hander. That allowed Floofy to rail him in a little bit. Great stuff, folks. Week number 1 of the Forza Spec Racing Series is always a very enjoyable, very meaningful experience for me. You guys usually come out pretty big with the interactivity and engagement, participation there in the chat. all I can say is keep it up. Keep it up. At some point, we'll have Forza Motorsport, the next title in the series, and I fully expect we'll have even more viewership as a newer game attracts intrigued eyes, intrigued minds, people who are curious about the new title, and certainly when there is a racing series going on. I don't know how long it'll take for FM4 to transfer into the next Forza, but man, you guys, it's the viewership and it's the engagement that keeps me going, in addition to the exciting racing. The exciting racing is only a part of that component, part of that formula. I could sit here and talk to myself all day long with these cars going around the track, but having you all here makes it worthwhile. And so, if you want to lurk, you can lurk. But if you have an opportunity to say hi there in the chat, maybe let me know where you're watching from. Just generally, you don't have to be specific. I don't need your coordinates. It's always fun. And of course, if you've got a question about Forza, the Forza Spec Racing Series, Forza Horizon, other racing, maybe you have a thought on motorsport in general, maybe you have a thought on gaming in general, by all means, drop it in the chat. We have ourselves a good time here on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern to about 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Back to Floofy in fourth. And let me not be rude. Let me not be rude here. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dustin Moore on the microphone, as is always the case here with the Forza Spec Racing Series. Proud to be, for the umpteenth time, commentating start to finish, green to checkered coverage here of FM4. And we're in another, well, the league is in another milestone season 40. It's amazing. They've been going since Forza Motorsport 4, and they continue strong, even with a game that is closing in on what? Is it almost 4 years of age at this point? Iris Dots has been watching all the way from Palm Beach, Florida. There you go. Nobody in the States is ever that far away from me. I'm about midpoint here in South Central Texas. Got you West Coasters to my left, you East Coasters to my right, and everybody in the Midwest. We're stuck in the middle with you. Wouldn't have it any other way. Unix IRL, yeah, I'm watching from Mars. Coordinates RA, 6 hours, 30 minutes, 36 seconds. It's December, plus 20 degrees. Oh, actually, I don't know what the DEC is. I might be misreading that. But hey, you're plus 24 degrees, 40 feet, 55, your elevation. Lovely. Unix, thanks for tuning in from Mars. I hope the rovers are doing you good up there, generating that oxygen. And don't worry, we're sending help. We're sending help soon. TM, trademarked. Thank you for the follow as well. Much appreciated. You guys don't realize the follows are like a little spark plug in my heart. And you make me skip a beat when that spark plug goes off. That's corny, but hey, we got Mother's Day coming up, so I'm kind of in that. That's kind of the sentiment I have right now. Be as sweet as I can be for somebody who, like Virus said, is a dork. Oh, and Martismo giving up the coordinates too, which I don't have my my Garmin, so you're gonna have to spell it out for me. Our race leader, it is still DTS Mondo. Let's go to Cratrim, who's there in second. 39.1753 north and 84.2944 west is Mortismo. Yeah, I think that puts you, what, along the, I don't know, the 40th parallel. DTS Mondo, thrilled to see him out here running up front. He did pick up a win, I believe, in season 37. I don't think was able to get one in season 38. Those were being exchanged between RZ and McQueen and Cratrim. But DTS Mondo is showing up nicely here in the Carrera GT. Perhaps S800 is really where he wanted to be, and even if it wasn't, here he comes out of Spoon, looking very composed. Car very on point here, even in the rain, out at Suzuka. With Cratrim trying to keep pace here, about, I don't know, maybe a half a second, maybe a little bit less behind. Floofy has moved up to third now, having gotten around LS Barney. And so don't hold your breath, folks, because it may still take a lap or two, but SGR Floofy in third, closing in quickly. He's got the Maserati logo. So we got a Ferrari in a mid-engine Porsche. With a Maserati logo on it. Floofy is trying to go full blasphemy. We've got Nicky Bobby there in the pit lane you saw in the background. Yeah, Dustin, you should definitely swing by Florida for that car event in August. Be nice to see you in person and have a good time. August is tricky, so I do have stuff going on in August. When I mentioned I've got things in the summer, part of that is in August, and the other tricky part of that is that my daughter is starting school. The first time in her young life. So August might be difficult to pull off, but like I said, maybe in the fall can work something out. And I don't know, maybe it'll have to wait till like the Daytona 24 hours at Daytona. That would be awesome, right? Meet up in Daytona for 24 hours of Rolex racing. Is it still Rolex? Is Rolex still the primary sponsor? Floofy, a little bit off the pace here. I was blabbering, and I completely missed what happened, but Floofy now a little bit further behind first and second. So let's jump back up here to second position momentarily. Floofy hanging out with Barney in fourth, Audrex in fifth, Fear the Fun in sixth, Slipstream in seventh, Slow Motion Fire, Barf Monkey, and Kuda make up 8th through 10th respectively. And then it's Cheetah in 11th position. Cheetah finished in 13th the first race, trying to maybe get into the top 10 here in the second race. Patches Riley in 12th, Modern Weapon in 13th, Born as Ghost in 15th, Weisenmitten in 16th. Then it's Grim, Onion with Too Many Eyes, Sprazaus, Ovation in 19th, Spills in 20th, and he's in the pit lane right now, and Nicky Bobby in 21st, who was in pit lane about a lap or two ago. All 21 drivers still out there on the track. You love to see it. It is still Rolex. Okay. Yeah, it might. Maybe the Daytona 24, because I was thinking either Silverstone or Daytona. But Silverstone has so much Daytona and Silverstone. Why am I saying Silverstone? Sebring, the 12 hours of Sebring. But Daytona has so much prominence behind it. Like, if I had to pick between the two of those, I think it would be Daytona. Not to mention you can actually see things at Daytona. Get yourself a seat, maybe up there in the nosebleeds. That way you can overlook the entire facility. Yeah, I think I'd have to pick Daytona over Sebring. As much as I love Sebring as a track, I love racing at Sebring virtually. Not good, I just love to. Our predictor is complete. 74% of the points wagered are betting on Floofy or Mondo winning this race, whereas 26% of the points wagered suggest that somebody else will win that race, and it's very possible. You got DTS Mondo out in front right now, but you have Cratrim not too far behind. Daytona really has no identity, though. That's what sucks about the city. Yeah, but I mean, the Speedway becomes kind of its own city during that event, right? I don't know. I'm only assuming. Like, you go for the Daytona event and you just kind of park yourself there, and really everything you need is right there. I don't know. It's like half Miami and half Vegas styling. I'd be there for the racing anyway. I wouldn't be much of a tourist. Week number 1, this is really kind of setting things up for this season. And although the driving really kind of changes up after week number 1. Now, Suzuka might be the best representation of what the rest of the season holds, but we really kind of go into Grand Prix mode from this point forward. Circuit of the Americas, Circuit de Catalunya next, Road Atlanta, then Le Mans, Daytona, and Spa, and Mugello. So the short course setup of Hockenheimring, that's kind of out of sight, out of mind now at this point. Yeah, the stadium is massive. It's like a good 150, 200 feet tall. Yeah, it's a ginormous. And after some of the renovations that they've done in recent years, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, here comes Slipstream. We're going to jump back a little bit further here. Slipstream in 7th position. He's got a paint job that kind of looks, I don't know, it gives me Bugatti vibes here with the two-tone along the side vents. There on the rear quarter panel. Pretty sharp. Oh, and Forza Motorsport 7 in this very moment has decided to go ahead and kick the headlamps on. It took a while, but in coordinated fashion, we've got headlamps, and there goes Ovation, who is on the wheel and pedals. Slides it into home base there in the dirt. Except there is no home plate there. Rather, he slides it into the sand trap just before the hairpin and will have to make a recovery. Was able to have that incident without that lead lap traffic around him, so that's a good thing. Ovation streaming over on his channel. Ovation, same name as what you see on the track, Ovacean. Does some music producing. I've been there for a little bit of that. Does some music producing and gameplay of all kinds of different stuff. A variety. A true variety. Let's go to second place now here with Craytrim. We're going to see if Craytrim can't eke out the win here in these final 4 laps. 14 of 15. That's all we're racing to. That final one being a cooldown lap. So it's on lap 14. At the end of lap 14 is when they'll drop the checkers. Virusdot says, I went by it not too long ago when I bought the Miata. I went to St. Augustine and on the way back paid to run the Miata on the track, and it was a blast, but I was topped out for the majority. Just bouncing off the rev limiter. Goes the little Miata around the track. Was that the sport car circuit or the speedway? Tri-oval or the road course? ETS Mondo has another encounter here with lap traffic, and it's every one of these little encounters that is an opportunity for some of the trailing cars to catch up. Might slow Mondo down a little bit. Now, of course, that same effect could apply to Craytrim, but it's really all about timing. And now here they come up the spoon. Craytrim is closing in as a result. Mondo was able to get around lap traffic there without any incident. And now Craytrim is going to have to do work here coming up to 130R. Oh, boy. That is not where Craytrim wants spills. And Craytrim, if he could bite his nails, if he wasn't grasping the steering wheel or the joystick. Oh, especially now. And fortunately, Spill is able to keep it on the inside line there, avoiding contact with Craytrim. And now here goes Craytrim The mad dash down the front straightaway across the line, beginning of lap number 12. Trying to catch up there with our race leader, DTS Mondo. DTS Mondo finishing second at Hockenheim Ring. Breitram, who finished third at Hockenheim Ring, would rather flip spots here on these last 3 laps. Bit of the speedway and bit of the road course. Oh, cool. They opened it up for you there. Well, I mean, the road course is a bit of the speedway and the road course. Did you get the bus stop? I think that's the real question. How did the Miata do through the bus stop? Back to Barney in 5th. Barney kind of just doing his own thing right now. Out in front of him, it's Audrex as they head up to the hairpin. Fear the Fun back in 6th. Slipstream in 7th. Barf Monkey in 8th. Slow Motion Fire is broke into the top 10 after finishing 11th. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold on to that. Kuda 93 in 10th. Cheetah, who I mentioned could use a top 10 finish, or would love to have a top 10 finish, and that would make for I would say a very successful debut here in FM4. Currently in 11th. Borda's Ghost is 12th. Modern Weapon in 13th. Patches Riley in 14th. Wisemit in 15th. Onion with Too Many Eyes in 16th. 17th is Grim. 18th is Sprazows. Spills in 19th. Ovation in 20th. And Nicky Bobby in 21st. Still all 21 drivers out on the track. No matter how bad your race is going, just keep with it. That's what we want to see. We don't want your car to be an ornament on the side of the road here in FM4. You could be 20 laps back, and I say go for it. Just keep going. Keep plugging away. No matter how embarrassed or how defeated you may feel, get around that track, because you never know how that little bit of familiarity with the car, even though you may not move up in position, the more laps you churn could pay dividends in the next race as you continue on through the season here. Get more accustomed to it. And fortunately here, after you get done with this rain race at Suzuka, you have no more weather to be concerned with. Back to Cratrim, second position. Big thanks for all of you who have tuned in, and those who stumbled across the channel for the first time here tonight and have followed. A good amount of follows here tonight. A good amount of subscriptions, both new and resubscribes. So that count is going back up toward 30. Lovely. I don't know. I might have to do a little community challenge here. Might have to do a little community challenge. See if we can't get you guys to beat out what is currently the record. Again, I'll have to look back into the archives of the channel, but I think 55 is tops right now from the month of April. Hit 55 in April. Across the line, Mondo, Cratrium, 1 and 2. Final lap here out at Suzuka. Can Mondo hold on, or will Cratrium, the seasoned veteran to the nth degree, the driver who has the most championships out of anybody here in FM4, 9 to be exact, Was trying to make it 10 in season 39. Very well could do it here in season 40. But could use a victory here in this second race to set up things nicely for weeks 2, 3, 4, and then the finale in week 5. We'll take a look at that schedule here at the end of the broadcast. We'll talk to some of our drivers. I'll let you all know what's coming up here on X Venture, the channel. And if you wish to watch back, oh, there goes Grim. And I think maybe Grim just kind of getting off the track, allowing these two to scoot on past. Let them battle it out here on this final lap and not be a hindrance. But if you missed any part of this broadcast here tonight, you can watch back on demand here at twitch.tv/xventure in the past broadcast section of the video tab, or head on over to YouTube where I've got all these uploaded so you can watch races from the past, because here on Twitch, they're only available for 30 days as an affiliate. They only stay up for 30 days and then they disappear. But I have the majority, I'd say 99.9% of my broadcast of the FM4 series are available over on YouTube. Nightbot providing the link there for you. Same channel name on YouTube as it is here, Xventure, EXEVENTURE. Crate trim here, 2 corners left, out of the chicane, into the right-hander, and it looks like DTS Mondo picking up another win. It's been a while, but a victory here. Out at Suzuka, in the rain, in the 582 horsepower, 2003 Porsche Carrera GT. Cratrium in second, Audrex in third. Although Audrex has not yet come across the line. Here is Barney in fourth. Back behind Barney is Fear the Fun. Where did Floofy go? Floofy fell all the way back to 7th position. Ooh. How interesting that makes things for the remainder of the season. Floofy getting a win in the first race, but finishing out of the top 5 on the second. Oh my, as Takei would say. George Takei? Takai? George Takei. It's Takei, right? Why am I forgetting his name? George Takei. With Mondo being our winner, those of you who said Floofy or Mondo would finish first in this race, congratulations. You get your channel points back and some. For those of you who said someone else, sorry, try again. Another day. That's okay. That's how these things happen. And if we don't have folks wagering on either side of the predictor, then there's really no point in it. But hopefully some of you all who maybe are joining the channel for the first time, as you rack up more channel points by watching the broadcast, you can take part in our predictor here in forthcoming weeks. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here as I take note of where everybody finished. Just like our last race, I'm going to run an ad break here. It does support the broadcast for those of you who can go ahead and spare 3 minutes to leave the broadcast running. I don't care if you go to the bathroom, go get food or a drink, or if you go to another tab and watch or do something else. But if you leave the channel running here, whatever ad revenue does come out of it does come to the channel. And of course, as I always say, 100% of everything that comes to me after Twitch takes their cut goes directly back into the broadcast. I'd pocket none of this for myself. This is a part-time thing for me. Not even part-time. It's just a hobby for me. And so I like to reinvest it back into the channel, either in production value or in giveaways. So hang out through the ads. I'll be back on the other side. We'll talk to our drivers in the driver spotlight. We'll preview the weeks to come, the remaining 4 weeks here in season 40. I'll talk to you about what's coming up here on X Venture. You are watching X Venture. I'm Dustin Moore. Twitch TV, Forza Spec Racing Series, Season 40, Week number 1, coming to a close. TV. And there we go. I'll turn my microphone on. Welcome back to X Venture here live on Twitch TV. I just noticed, well, it actually isn't doing it anymore, but the top of my head was like going away. I was doing like a little bit of a Marty McFly reenactment there of him fading off because time travel has consequences, if there's anything we've learned from Back to the Future. I'm Dustin Moore. I'm sorry for that tangent. It's going to happen, especially when I'm on camera, because then I just have a tendency to ramble on something apart from what I should be talking about, which is the conclusion now of week number 1, Forza Spec Racing Series Season 40 in the Porsche Carrera GT. Wonderful job out here on the track by all drivers, all 21 of them, 20 in the first race, 21 of them in the second race. And man, it's going to be interesting already heading into week number 2. It always is kind of a toss-up going into the first 2 or 3 weeks, because with that drop week rule in effect, you really don't really see the implications of these poor races, or these races in which some of the drivers don't do as well as they had hoped. You don't really see those implications until week 4 and week 5, when we get a better idea of what the championship point total race looks like. And so we've got a little bit of time before we get there, which is awesome, which means we've got more racing to come, and we don't have to think too much about it, but rather just enjoy it as it happens before us. As I take a look at the schedule here with y'all, you can see that with the first week out of the way, we've now got the Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix track, 14 laps around that one in Austin, Texas, coming up a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll start with the 3 laps of qualifying. After the Circuit of the Americas, then it's Circuit de Catalunya out there in Spain. Also the Grand Prix circuit. So, like I said, really giving the cars room to roam in week number 2. 16 laps there at Catalunya. Week number 3 has us going to Road Atlanta, the club circuit, followed by Circuit de la Sarthe, the old Mulsanne, the long straightaway there for 8 laps in the dark, and it will be dark. Week number 4 on May 25th, Daytona Speedway, also in the dark, but under the lights. Circuit de Spa is the second race there, 11 laps. It's been a while. It's been a minute since we've been out at Spa, so that'll be fun. And then Mugello Autodromo Internazionale, 45 laps there for the finale in Italy. All right, let's go ahead and rope into the driver's spotlight. I see Weisenmitten in there, and Weisenmitten, I tried to get you on the spotlight earlier. We weren't having such luck. How about now? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Ah, there we go. I hear you.
There we go.
I'm going to boost your audio a little bit here so our viewers can hear you. Looks like 16th position out here in the rain at Suzuka, yeah?
Yeah. It was. I only had like 2-3 laps before the race actually ran. I have quite a internet connection issues lately.
Yeah, that's bound to happen here in virtual racing. Is that we're going to see some folks plagued by disconnects and all that. But you move up a spot from where you finished out at Hockenheimring, which was 17th position. You had Ovation out in front of you, that one, but this race out here at Suzuka, it was Onion with too many eyes. That's what I'm going to call him, Onion with too many eyes, who finished 15th in front of you. So you got some new competition this season.
Yeah, these guys are actually pretty good. This is my second season with the guys. Getting used to it. The rain was definitely a challenge with the V12 in this car.
Yeah. What about the car in general? So you had the race in the rain, but then before that, Hockenheimring, it was nice and dry out there at Hockenheimring. So how does the car do when you're not worrying about puddles and such?
Well, like I say, I ran an internet connection, but I tried to play offline to try and get the car tuned in. I was only able to do that maybe a half hour before race time. So I just had to button up what I thought would help me out at least. But I think it did well with just a quick tune.
Quick tune. Anybody help you out there in FM4, the league, or are you kind of trying to do this all on your own?
I do this all on my own. Whether the car's, if I feel the car's like wanting to kick out in the rear end, I'll tighten up the front end. If the car's not turning in as much as I want, then I'll loosen up the rear end just to try and get it around the corner, tighten or soften the springs. I definitely had to soften the springs in the rain so that way the tire can stay contact and air up my tire pressures from difference from Hockenheim.
Anything that you learned about the car in these first two races that now you apply to the two events that we have coming up next week? Granted, kind of a different configuration, and we've got Grand Prix circuits with a little bit of an elevation change. You saw a little bit of elevation change here at Suzuka, but then it really ramps up as we head out to Austin and then Catalunya. So anything in particular that you've keyed in on that you're like, yeah, I got to fix this?
It's going to have to be my rebounds and my tire pressures coming up. I think I got my springs set at a pretty good spot. I'm not seeing any sparks flying as I'm going around the corners. My ride height's just where I want it. But yeah, it's just I think my brake pressures are set a little too high because my front tires are wearing down way too fast.
Yeah, we were taking a look, not so much in this race in the rain, because I do believe the tires were not so much of an issue in the rain. I could be wrong. We just didn't look at it, but definitely out there at Hockenheim Ring. Is that messing with you too much, you and your tune, or is the level of degradation kind of right at the point where you just barely start to notice it?
Coming up to the last of these laps, like I went this full race without taking a pit, and my tires started getting about 50% worn, and that was in the rain. So this is definitely back to the drawing board. I'll take the week to do it and practice on the tracks as much as I can to get that. That way I don't have to pit. That way I don't have to feel anything like any severe understeer where the car doesn't want to handle anymore.
Okay. Well, he'll get it sorted out here in the next week before we go into week number 2, 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch it all right here on XVenture. Wyzen, any shout-outs here that you'd like to have tonight or share?
Well, shout out to the guys. They're a great team to definitely be racing with, as well as Fear and Modern, Slow Motion, the guys that keep everything going. Shout out to those guys. As well as to my teammate Ovation, part of the Goose Gang Racing. Big shout out to them, and yeah, it's a lot of fun so far.
I need a goose sound effect so that when you guys mention your Goose Gang Racing team, I've got the effect at the ready.
Yeah.
Very good. Talk to us a little bit about that. You got a little bit of partnership there with Ovation. You mentioned that you do your tuning alone, but are you kind of sharing some insights with Ovation, or similarly Ovation sharing with you, or are you guys kind of different in your driving style? And we know Ovation is on a wheel and pedal, so is there not that kind of shared intel?
We do. Last season we shared intel. This season I got a lot going on. I'm big midst of building a house, so a lot of my attention's gone to that. So, but the other part is Ovation's on the steering wheel, and I'm on controller, and he'll run his tune, find what suits him. I'll do mine, and then we'll swap. Like I'll run his, he'll run mine, and then we'll do our adjustments, and the car's button right up.
Very good. Well, we'll continue to see, or we will see how you continue to evolve the car and your tune as we get through the seasons, especially when we hit these Grand Prix circuits in week number 2, and then
that's gonna be fun.
and then the oval, the tri-oval there in week number 4. That'll kind of throw a wrench or at least a loop for everybody. Wyzen, great chatting with you. We'll see you in week 2.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. And that's it. Drivers. All right. Okay. I see how it is. Don't blame me when you don't get any camera time on the broadcast. I'm kidding, of course. Hey, it's hit or miss from week to week. Sometimes we'll get the drivers coming in here in droves, and other times maybe they're just a bit too shy, or maybe they just didn't have a great week, so they don't care to have a word, and they'll save it for another week. As a matter of fact, as I look at the lobby right now, they're all prepping for a practice race out at Road of the Americas. So maybe a lot of the attention is on that event, and maybe a lot of folks are like, yeah, okay, I think I've got some work to do on this car, and therefore they're gonna go ahead and skip the banter and rather work on their vehicle. All right, so we've got the organizer here of FM4 who has decided to jump in. Slow Motion Fire, welcome, sir, to the hot seat. Great to chat with you.
Hot seat? What am I getting myself into tonight?
Well, because I'm gonna ask why you continuously allow LS Barney to do things that everybody else just really doesn't like. Rain at Suzuka.
Well, it's the FM4 way.
You had the weather, and of course now that's in everybody's rearview mirror. And then you mentioned in our chat at the beginning of the first race tonight that you had some folks who were sporting the wrong setup. So week one kinks, but apparently you guys have got it all sorted out. And now we'll go to a couple of Grand Prix circuits for week number 2.
Week 2, we got a few more traditional races. We're going to Coda and Catalunya.
Yeah.
Perfect weather, so we won't have to deal with any of that. It should be a little closer racing. And, as we transition through the weeks, the racing always gets closer and closer and closer as everyone figures out the car.
Are you guys going to trick me again there at Catalunya? Are you guys skipping out of La Caixa and going wide, or avoiding that last chicane and instead taking that, I don't know if it's the bike circuit or what, there on the final part of the track? What is this legitimately, I guess, within the confines of Forza Motorsport 7's expectations of where you run? Is this like the legit full circuit out at Catalunya?
Yes, this will be the Forza Limits layout of Catalunya. We specifically chose it so we couldn't run funky layouts that we'd been talking about.
Awesome. Well, hey, enough about the league. Let's talk about yourself here, your performance tonight. Doing an exceptional job, at least by my recollection. You finished in 11th position out at Hockenheim Ring, getting into the top 10 out there in the wet at Suzuka. So are you pretty proud of yourself?
Yeah, I cannot complain at all. For as little practice as I put in, I am happy with where I finished tonight.
What do you make of the car, and of course the setup that Fear the Fun's helped out on? And I'm guessing you probably got some thoughts and input maybe from Floopy himself, who won season 39. Is it as daunting as maybe some people who are watching would expect a 582 horsepower car to be, or not so much?
It is. This car is definitely a handful, and that's as people kind of come to terms with that. Racing should get better as the weeks go on, get figured out, and there's been quite a few tunes sharing. This car out of the box suspension is so soft that you're trying to run it without doing anything. It's an absolute nightmare.
Going through the first race out there at Hockenheim Ring, I couldn't help but be excited by the fact that we were seeing legit tire degradation, particularly on the front tires, but then also warming up pretty good on the back tires. So here you've got one of these seasons, and some folks saying maybe the last time they could recall it was with the Scirocco that they had these challenges. Are you excited by the kind of the dynamic nature of that, or would you have rather the tires, retain their grip all throughout the race?
I tend to be a little easier on the tires, so I always get kind of excited for these seasons where that half-hour point, some drivers might be making a tire change. We didn't see it tonight. We might see it next week. I think Coda is kind of hard on tires, but there's going to be some races where drivers get to really pushing it and racing against each other. Tire wear might come into play at the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Grand Prix circuits that will be out at next week, Coda and Catalunya, but then also I'm kind of curious how the tire degradation is going to look out at the Tri-Oval Daytona there in week number 4.
The little bit of testing I've done, I don't think that one's going to be as bad because you're leaning on the suspension, but you're really not scrubbing the tires.
Yeah. Okay. STR Floofy, I'll ask you because you're the organizer. I don't often get drivers to talk about other drivers, but man, you had STR Floofy win season 39. He picks up the win out at Hockenheim Ring, but then DTS Mondo, who we've seen really excel, do well, pick up another win here tonight. That battle for the top, especially with Floofy not doing so hot at Suzuka, it looks to be as competitive as ever, if not more so.
Well, yeah, and CT is going to be right up there too because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been finishing consistently behind those guys. So Luffy got into a little trouble there at Suzuka. I don't know if you caught that on the broadcast, but he hit one of the curbs and took some damage, and that's what knocked him back. He's running too low a ride height and hit a curb.
We didn't see it on camera, but I did make mention of it there on that final lap that he was further back than we last saw him when I had the camera on him. So the ride height certainly seems to be a thing. We were talking about with Weisemit, who was saying that he's comfortable with where he has his ride height. So that's also something pretty interesting, that you've got a car here that is going to react violently depending on how much height you put on the car.
Yeah, with what you're allowed in some of the tuning settings, this is one of the, like some of the race cars, you can get this car really low.
I'm looking at the schedule now because I'm trying to then point out which track might be especially precarious for those who like to run with a lower ride height. I mean, you've got Coda, which has its fair share of rumble strips. However, those are pretty low to the ground to accommodate Formula One. Gosh, maybe Mugello. There might be a few there at Mugello, especially through. Oh gosh.
Yeah, Mugello's got some high-speed sweepers that
Yeah.
if you get up on the curb might kind of unsettle you. But as far as roughness goes, we're running Le Mans without the chicanes, and that backstretch is so bumpy that if you've got this car slammed, it's going to be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very true. Very, very true. All right, Slow Motion Fire. So you guys had a few spots on the grid available here tonight. I don't know what registration was looking like. Obviously pretty solid. I mean, you still had 21 drivers out there for this last race. I'll let you put either the call out there, or you could say, hey, no, we've got enough. But what do you say? Anybody who's like, oh, hey, you mean I can join in week number 2? That's very possible. What would you say to them?
Yeah, we're going to have some spots open next week. We've got some drivers with some personal things going on that they've already told us they're not going to make it. So if you're at all interested in joining us, you just got to head over to the Reddit r/FM4 and read over the rules and sign up, and we'll get you on the reserve driver list.
Yep, and for those of you who are watching, you saw that there were drivers of all different skill levels, and that's perfectly okay as long as you are driving in the right direction and you're not becoming a hindrance out there on the track, particularly if you are a back marker and you've got some of that lead lap traffic roaring up from behind you. That you're cognizant and mindful of that. You don't have to go flying off the track to get out of the way, but you do kind of have to give them the right of way there. As long as you can do that, then you're good. And because of the variety, the diversity and skill level out here on the track, you're bound to find somebody that you can compete with, and that's the coolest thing. That's what I would be interested in. Is there's no way I'm going to win a race, but I am going to find somebody out there who is either similarly skilled or similar in driving style that I can compete with. Slow Motion Fire, any shout outs?
Just to all the drivers and to you and everybody that showed up and watched tonight. We couldn't do this without all of you, so thanks for participating.
Okay, very good. Actually, there is one other question. I want to throw one in there because I brought it up in the middle of the broadcast. How long do you think it will, and this, of course, going based on past experience, you guys went from Forza Motorsport 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 now. How long would you, and I know we don't even have an ETA on the next Forza Motorsport title, but how long do you think it would take for a transition into that new title for those who might be interested in like prepping here in Forza Motorsport 7 for that next title?
I imagine it'll be a fairly quick transition. You might run like a season or something kind of between, just to give everybody a chance to, play the new game, acquire whatever they have
credits.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as long as this game has gone on, everybody's going to be chomping at the bit to do something new.
Awesome. Slow Motion Fire, thank you so much for your time. Well done here with the start of season 40. We'll see you a week from tonight.
All right. Thank you, Dustin.
All right, and now let's go ahead and bring into the another one has jumped into the driver's spotlight queue. We've got Sprazouse. Sprazow's finishing in, it looks like 19th out here in the rain at Suzuka after what was it looks like 18th place finish out at Hockenheim Ring. Sprazow's having fun in the Carrera GT or no?
Hey, not yet. But honestly, I didn't no practice, no time in the car
There
except
you
for
go.
tonight. So yeah, real learning experience for sure, and two technical tracks that you need to learn: braking points, braking lines. The wet even more so, right? The rain at Suzuka. Not that I'm not enjoying it, but I couldn't tell you, right? Running a couple laps out here with no practice is all I know, and I would say at this point no, but I'm sure that the car can be tamed to some degree, but I got to get there.
Perhaps maybe source some help from somebody with the tune, or are you like Weisenman and you're like, hey, I'm riding solo on this thing. I'm going to try to work it out myself. What's your approach?
Yeah, so I have a Cratrium tune. I mean, I just downloaded Cratrium's tune.
Okay.
He's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Shoved it on there, raced. I showed up for qualifying first time in the car. I got 3 minutes of qualifying or whatever. Cratrium's tunes are always great, but obviously he drives differently than I do.
Yeah.
I've used Cratrium's tunes before. They generally work for me, but I need to do something else with it.
Yeah.
But more than anything, it's gonna be learning the car. It's tail happy car. I don't know that can be tamed. I tend to over tame it when I tune it so that it's not, it's probably not as quick as it needs to be. Whereas CT seems to be quite happy having it, be tail happy, all that power going to the rear. And, he's just that good on the gas. He can really feather the throttle, and that's why he's better than I am. I need to tame it out a lot more.
The bane of my existence, if I were racing here in season 40, would certainly be very much like what you're kind of expressing, that I would probably source a tune from somebody else. The driving styles would be so different, and I'd find myself cooking the tires. Do you find that the tire degradation is throwing you off a bit here, and is that something you'll be able to counter for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, nothing that I noticed at Suzuka, just because you're just trying to survive, and I didn't even pay attention. But yeah, I noticed tire degradation. Obviously at Hockenheim. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make next week,
okay.
Given a lot of other things going on, but
Yep.
I should be back for the rest of the season. But yeah, I would expect tire degradation is going to be a huge part of it. I would need to develop a tune where, you really lower the differential on the rear, try and tame it out as much as possible. Obviously, like I said, the difference between, the good drivers and the really good drivers is that, CT Cratrium can drive the car with that really sense. He can put the diff all the way up. It's probably on 100% on his tune, right? It's locked full, and he can feather the throttle, right? You know what I mean? Like he knows how to do that. He's much better than I am. I'm gonna put that diff at 0 and still not be able to get it right without spinning the wheels.
I'd be doing pirouettes out there. I'd just be doing circles the entire time with 100% differential. Talking with Sprazows here in the driver's spotlight. So is there any, you said you won't be here for the week number 2, but you should be here for the rest of the season. Is there any particular race that you're eyeing saying, okay, that one's one that I look forward to?
No. Honestly, when the schedule came out, the only race that was on my mind the whole time was Suzuka in the driving rain, and that was the only one that I was like, if I could miss one, I'd miss that one. But of course, I can't. It's week 1, so no. All the other tracks I generally like. I'm not a huge fan of Catalunya, so that's kind of out of the way too. That's a real technical track that I think will be difficult in this car. That's next week, so I will miss that. But I think the rest of the tracks look pretty solid to me. I'm pretty familiar with them all. It should be a nice car out at Spa. I would think it should do well there. But yeah, the technical tracks with the tight turns, right, and the wheel spin that we're talking about, places like Catalunya, Hockenheim and Suzuka in the wet for sure were just really difficult tracks.
Yeah, Spa is going to be something I think very special in terms of a finale here for FM4. The strategy looks like that is going to be of utmost importance. It might render even a second stop. I don't know, but man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool stuff.
Very cool. So wait, Dustin, I saw you. You look sharp tonight. What's you got the jacket on? You got the blazer on? Is this all new? I haven't seen. I completely missed last season. Had some health reasons. Doc told me I needed to get my hips replaced, so I got one out. Bizarrely, too young to have my hips replaced. But I didn't see anything last season. Is this all new?
I was telling
I like the outfit.
I was telling the viewers earlier. I don't mean to be the disembodied voice. I'm not camera shy, but at the same time, I don't want to be like occupying space on the screen
Yeah,
during the race. But when it comes to this
sure.
intermission period, I think it makes sense. So I figured I'd try
Yeah.
it out. And don't be fooled. I mean, yeah, sure, I've got the jacket over here, but then underneath, legitimately, is like a
You're
uh,
partying down below.
it's like an athletic shirt. Yeah, I mean, like
Got it.
I'm gonna be as business casual as I can be with this thing.
Got
I think that's what the look is gonna be. I don't know. I might find some wacky shirts and we'll get wacky shirt week
Yeah,
going
there
or
you
something
go.
like that. Who knows? But yeah,
There
I
you
mean, and in that way, you know, for those viewers who are spending the extra time watching the broadcast, the 2.5 or so hours that I'll be on here for FM4, and then of course those who go above and beyond with their contributions to the channel, either through their subscriptions or otherwise, I figured I might as well make an appearance and have a formal thank you. So. And
Yeah,
Sprazouse,
I like it.
that extends to you for all the support you've brought to
Thank
the
you.
channel.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You look good. I like it. I dig it. Thanks for having me. I won't be around next week, but I'll see you the week after.
We'll see you week 3. Thank you so much for your time here tonight.
Yep. Take care, bud.
All right, there you go. I knew somebody was going to call me out. Somebody's going to be like, "Oh, look at Dustin trying to get all flashy up on the screen." No, folks, I'm trying to do this so that I'm not seemingly like a hermit here with these broadcasts. I know I have the photo that goes up during the race to tell you all who I am, but in the intermission, sitting in those loading screens, I get it. Or not the loading screens, but like the splash screens, and just having them sit there can be a little bit boring. I will try to kind of play around with this to see if I can't get it to be a little bit more entertaining, but at least for now, you've got this for whatever it's worth. Like I said, to Sprazouse, a formal thank you to all of you who tuned in tonight. And I don't want to say especially those of you who followed, but certainly those of you who followed here tonight. It lets me know as a broadcaster that you are either new to the channel or at least got to the point where you said, "Hey, I think I enjoy this. This is some value for me." Well, thanks for committing to clicking that follow button, because that for any streamer here on Twitch, that just solidifies the fact that, okay, these aren't just numbers that are watching. There's legitimately somebody there who's like, okay, this is cool. Let me follow the channel. So thanks for that, and then for the good number of you who subscribed not only here tonight, but then also back on Friday when we had a little bit less of a viewership. Huge thanks to those of you who make that commitment either with your Prime subscription or through the monetary contribution of a paid subscription. I know that particularly in these times, it's not the easiest to go ahead and throw down money on something that really you could watch for free. But for those of you who do contribute that much more, do know that every bit of it goes back into the broadcast, either in the form of production upgrades, like I had to get this camera, I got a new mic so that I could be wireless. Everything it goes to a purpose, and none of it gets squandered. None of it goes into my pocket. None of it gets wasted on Reese's and Dr. Pepper. I assure you, it all goes to the broadcast. So thanks to all of you who clicked those buttons here tonight, and then of course everybody who just generally showed up and watched the channel. Awesome debut here in week number 1. Share with your friends if you've got somebody that you know who is similar in terms of interest with racing like this, virtual racing, virtual motorsports. Yes, I know Forza Motorsport 7 is quite far into its lifespan, a lifespan that is longer than any of the other titles that we've seen, or at least till there's the release of the next version. We're going a little bit longer here. And let me just say that I'm thrilled to hear from Slow Motion Fire. That transition into the next Forza Motorsport title is relatively quick. So let this be an opportunity for you if you are either already in Forza Motorsport 7 or have maybe thought about dabbling in league racing, or maybe you just are interested in motorsport, virtual motorsport, but yet you haven't pulled the trigger on picking up the game and playing. The awesome thing about here, Forza Motorsport 7, is whether you've got it for the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the Series X, whatever the different iterations are, or for PC, you can participate in FM4. All you got to do is head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4, because that's what you need to know. if there's anything that's going to convince you to participate, if there's anything that's going to get you set up in the right direction, it's going there first, because without doing that, you won't be able to engage in vehicular warfare. Keep it clean out there on the track, and you'll be good to go. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Again, for those of you who maybe missed a little bit of the broadcast, we're going to run it back here. The racers love to jump in and watch the replay here, so if you want to interact with a few of the drivers, you can most certainly do that here in the chat. We'll be back live again on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern for week number 2. Again, out at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, followed by Catalunya. I adore, well, I shouldn't say I adore both of those tracks. I enjoy to some degree those tracks. They're not my favorite, but that should be really, really good racing. Grand Prix tracks for the Carrera GT seems like a proper fit for these 582 horsepower cars. And the racing that we saw from Cratrium, from Floofy, from Mondo, from Audrex even, who finished in third here in this in the rain race, and then Ellis Barney, he's back there as well. Slipstream, don't forget about him. Fear the Fun had an awesome debut here in week number 1 after what had been several miserable weeks, I would say, on Fear the Fun's behalf over the last few seasons. He had a really good debut here tonight. So that great competition is going to, without a doubt, it's going to continue on. So come back here, let your friends and family, or even your foes, your closest sports and motorsport foes, know that it's going down here Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on XVenture. We'll be thrilled to have you here, and by all means, drop me a line there in the chat and say hi and let me know what you think of the racing. I'll be live again on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern with MLB The Show 21. More gameplay there for either Diamond Dynasty or Road to the Show or March to October. I'm undecided, but I'll let you know as we get closer there on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Same handle as it is here on Twitch, XVenture, EXEVENTURE. And then I'll be live Saturday morning starting at 8 a.m. because it is Mother's Day on Sunday. I will be going on Saturday morning as opposed to Sunday morning. So you catch me there, 8 a.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing more MLB The Show stuff. So yes, it's different. It's baseball. It's not racing. But for those of you who enjoy that pastime sport, I'll be doing that. And I'll be opening, unfortunately, I don't have it with me right now, but I have another box, another hobby box of the Topps 2021 Heritage cards that I'll be opening, and that should take me very close to, if not all the way up to, the release of the Series 2 2021 Topps baseball cards, at which point I expect to have some of those to open. So if you enjoy watching MLB The Show gameplay, if you enjoy watching somebody's luck turn terribly south with baseball cards, then tune in then, because that's always a blast. And then, of course, we'll open up some virtual packs there within MLB The Show and have ourselves a good old time. And yeah, there you go. So that's what it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Other things that are on my radar: American Truck Simulator. We're getting close. I feel like we're getting dangerously close to the release of Wyoming, at which point I will probably throw that into the mix there. A little bit less baseball, a little bit more American Truck Simulator. So those of you who enjoyed watching me broadcast that do know that that's going to come back. Texas, they said it could either be the end of the year or it might even be 2022, but either way, that's on my radar. And then who knows what else may crop up. There might be something that I throw into the mix just because that's what I'm feeling one day. You really don't know what to expect here on XVenture, apart from I'm going to try to keep it as entertaining as I possibly can for you. Thanks very much for hanging out with me here tonight. Y'all have a great rest of the week. Stay happy, stay healthy. If you can get a COVID shot, either the first, the second, if you've had the first, please make that commitment to do so. I really think it's in the best interest, not only for you, and I don't mean to speak for you and be concerned with your health, but it's also, I think, the best for us as a society moving forward. So if you can, please make that commitment. And by all means, if you want to celebrate here and say, hey, Dustin, I got my first shot, I got my second shot, then we'll give you a virtual high five. Because we're socially distanced already anyway. We're across the broadband, the internet here, so we'll do that virtually. Because as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I really would love to do some kind of meet and greet one time out at a motorsport event, whether it be Daytona 24 or maybe it would be something out at COTA. Who knows? But hopefully we can get to a sense of normalcy here sooner rather than later. Stay happy, stay healthy, my friends, until either Friday, Saturday, or next Tuesday. Have a great rest of the week. Hey, it's the month of May. It's a new month. Adios, everyone. Good night. Goodbye. Tweed. Yeah, sure, Slow. You guys make that happen, I'll look for a tweed jacket. Maybe a mustache. Y'all have a good one. Lovely hanging out with y'all. Stay tuned for the rerun. The rerun. Read on your favorite drivers a second time. Give them all your good vibes. It'll spill over into week number 2. Later, y'all.